From the struggles of the past to the freedom we enjoy today, the Philippines Constitution stands as the foundation of our nation's identity and governance. Throughout history, it has involved, shaped by colonization, revolution, and the enduring voice of the Filipino people. Join us as we take a journey through time, exploring how the Philippines Constitution continues to guide the future of our country. The Constitution serves as the legal framework of the Philippine society. It is the foundation upon which laws are created, rights are protected, and the government operates. As the supreme laws of the land, it defines the relationship between the state and its people. It ensures order, justice, and protection of fundamental freedoms. The Philippines Constitution is not static, it is dynamic and evolving. Throughout history, it has undergone several revisions in response to the changing needs of society, reflecting the nation's continuous pursuit of progress and a better future. From the 1899 Constitution to the present 1987 Constitution, each version represents a significant chapter in the country's development as recorded in the official gazette. One of the most notable changes came with the 1973 Constitution introduced during the administration of former President Ferdinand Marcos. This constitution marked a shift from a presidential to a parliamentary system and was implemented during a time of political transformation in the country.
Here are the salient points of the 1973 Constitution. First, the Philippines changed its system of government from presidential to parliamentary. This means that instead of having a separate president and Congress, the head of government came from the legislative body itself. Second, under this system, the Prime Minister became the real head of government and was responsible for running the country and making major decisions. Third, the power to make laws was given to a single legislative body called the Batasang Pambansa. Fourth, the voting age was lowered from 21 to 18 years old, giving more young people the right to vote and participate in choosing the country's leaders. Fifth, barangays were officially recognized as the basic political unit of the government, bringing governance closer to the people at the community level. Sixth, the Constitution emphasized social justice and land reform to promote fair distribution of wealth and land, especially for the poor.
The 1987 Constitution re-established a presidential form of government in the Philippines. Under this system, the president served as both the head of state and the head of government. It also introduced a bicameral legislature composed of the Senate and the House of Representatives to ensure balanced lawmaking. Furthermore, the Constitution strongly emphasizes the protection of human rights and the promotion of social justice. It also restored the principle of separation of powers and checks and balances, ensuring that no branch of government becomes too powerful.
To truly understand the 1987 Constitution, we have to compare it to what came before. Looking at this table, we can see three fundamental shifts. First, we moved from parliamentary system back to a presidential one. Second, the legislature shifted from unicameral, where there was only one lawmaking body, to a bicameral system. To reestablish the Senate and the House of Representatives to provide better checks and balances. Finally, notice the shifts in executive authority. The 1973 Constitution allowed for centralized executive power, which often led to unchecked rule. The 1987 Constitution corrected this by implementing limited executive power, most notably through strict term limits. This ensures that no single leader can hold on to power indefinitely, solidifying our transition back to representative democracy.
The 1987 Constitution is often called Freedom Constitution. But why is it given this name? It was created as a direct result of the historical movement that restored the democracy in the country. This constitution dismantled the previous authoritarian system and re-established democratic institutions. It also restored civil liberties and strengthened the Bill of Rights, ensuring the protection of every Filipino's freedom. Most importantly, it was designed to prevent future dictatorship by promoting accountability, transparency, and balanced governance.
To the accountability of public officers, the main idea from Article 11 is public office is a public trust. This means that being a public official is not for personal gain, but to serve the people. So what is accountability? Accountability means that public officials are responsible for their actions and decisions. In simple terms, it means they must answer for and stand by what they do. According to Article 11, public officials must serve with responsibility, integrity, and loyalty, so they should not use their position for personal interest. The Ombudsman receives complaints against corrupt officials, investigates wrongdoing, and helps ensure that those who abuse their power are punished, so they act as protectors of the people against corruptions. So why is this important? Accountability is important because it ensures that government officials serve properly, it maintains the trust of the people, it prevents corruption or abuse of power. Without accountability, officials may misuse their positions. So now let's talk about the first synthesis, which is the reflecting change. The Constitution evolves as the country changes. This means as culture, politics, and society change. The law must also adapt to meet the needs of the people, show the roots and everyday life in the past, buildings and urban development, protest, or expressions of people's sentiments.
The 1972 martial law. 54 years ago, late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr. announced the proclamation of 1081.
President Ferdinand E. Marcos proclaimed martial law. With Proclamation 1081, he began the work of building a new society,
which put the Philippines under the military control due to the looming threat of communist rebel.
It is the only way for Marcos to cover up how bad the economy was in the Philippines, because people were already protesting because there's no job opportunities and basic goods necessities were expensive. Based on Amnesty International, thousands were killed and people's freedom were suppressed and human rights were violated. The administration of Marcos plundered the people. It is important to remember our painful past so we can seek justice for those victims.
So now that Marcos is back in power, we need to be mindful so that history will not repeat itself.
The real essence of martial law was to replace the civilian rule with military authority.
Moreover, according to research and historical documents, this period was marked as a centralization of power in the executive branch, and also people could be detained without formal charges or trial.
And lastly, strict censorship of media, press, and public expression.
For this part of our presentation, we focus on living memories through interviews, also known as personal narratives. These are real life stories shared by people who personally experience martial law.
Naalala niyo po ba kung nasaan po kayo nung martial law po?
Nagtuturo ako sa isang Institute of Management. Pagising ko sa mga lahat ng radyo off.
Naalala niyo po na naranasan under martial law kung gaano po kahirap yung panahon po na yun.
Niread yung bahay namin April 4, 1973.
Walang katanong-tanong, umabot na kagad yung hataw ng baril.
Sabi ng lola mo, maganda ang panahon noon. Yung more than 20 years ng diktadurya, naranasan ko lahat yun. Kasama rin ako dun sa mga naniwala nung una. Baka naman kailangan. Baka maganda yung pinapangakong disiplina. Pero nakita ko with my own eyes ang pagbagsak ng ekonomiya. Yung gutom at kawalan ng trabaho. Naranasan kong magkaroon ng mga kaibigan na bigla na lang nawala. Mga simpleng tao. Yung iba natagpo ang patay. Karamihan, hindi na nakita. Ang tanong ko, kakayanin mo ba? Yung mahigit na 20 taon na hindi ka sigurado kung buhay pa o wala na yung mahal mo sa buhay. Yung hindi ka man lang makapagpaalam dahil wala kang bangkay na pinaglamay o inilibig. Diyos ko mga apo, sana hindi ninyo maranasan. Sana hindi na natin maranasan muli.